Okay, let's get started. I want to kind of give an update to where things are, and then I'm going to call on Chief Bunning here, the Director of Office of Emergency Management, followed by Chief Acevedo, and then Chief Pinion. Let me just the main issue for right now are the power outages that are taking place throughout our state. And primarily cause, of course, it's a huge demand. And then there are a number of generation plants that have been taken offline, like your wind turbines that are frozen over in various parts of the state. One of our nuclear plants had to be taken offline. So there's a huge demand, a very limited supply. It is a system-wide failure across the state. And as you know, the system is controlled, managed by ERCOT. That is a state entity that controls our electric grid. And I know that some of them have already been speaking to it already. But let me just say, people, because I know I've seen some of the social tweets and others saying, Mayor, please turn on the heat. That is not within my purview. And so that is the electric grid. That's on the state level, and that is creating a great deal of power outages. Yesterday, we talked in terms of rolling blackouts, but that was yesterday. Today, these are power outages, and based on the recent CenterPoint numbers, about 1.2 million CenterPoint customers in their service area are without power. That's all of the city of Houston and then the Houston region. So it goes even beyond the city of Houston. That's about 1.2 million. It is even possible, with the weather getting colder as we move towards the evening, that number couldn't even grow. I just want to be very upfront with people in the city. If you are without power right now, it is very conceivable that you could be without power throughout the rest of today and possibly even going into tomorrow. And so let me ask you to do everything you can to be warm in a safe manner. I do not encourage people, for example, to try to leave their homes. The roadways and the streets are still very much treacherous. We have a number of warming centers throughout the city, but I would tell you even a couple of them are without power. There are approximately 500 people at the George R. Brown. Of that number, 40 were processed, taken in today at the George R. Brown, and that's pretty much at capacity. So let me encourage you not to get on the road, to just kind of buckle down, hunker down at your home. I am very much concerned with critical care patients, customers, people who need medical devices, they need oxygen, for example. They're relying on battery power. To the extent you see yourself getting very low in terms of your battery power, or you don't have enough oxygen, please contact 311, 211. If you'll reach out to us. In some cases, we'll even be trying to reach out to you. But these are the critical care customers who require medical devices or oxygen, things of that nature. If you see that what you have is running out of power, or you need additional medical devices or oxygen, please reach out to us on 311. I'm also concerned with our seniors. And so I would ask people, relatives, neighbors, friends, to check on our seniors. Many of them rely pretty much exclusively, for example, on television. And without power, they may not be getting these reports. So please pick up the phone and give them a call and check on our seniors. But the roads, bear in mind, the roads are hazardous. Let me say, with regards to the airports at this point are not flying in or out. And so before you even proceed to go to the airports, please check with your airlines. But for right now, based on our reports, they're not flying in or out at this time. So the next, let's say 24 to 36 hours are going to be very, very important. And I'm simply going to ask us to just to kind of hunker down. I know it's cold for people who have lost power in the city. I certainly understand that. And I know that people affiliated with the electric industry, utility industry, are working very, very hard in ERCOT to increase that capacity. But until then, let's just be patient as much as you can. Now let me call on Chief Bunning for his comments, and then we'll go to Chief Acevedo.
Great. Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership and guidance during this extreme cold weather. The Office of Emergency Management has been coordinating with all the city departments and also our state, our local, and our county partners, along with our private sector partners. Mayor, this is a team effort. Everybody's coming together, working together to keep the city safe and make sure that we have an adequate response. The Georgia Brown Convention Center, as the mayor said, is almost at capacity. We are looking at other shelters. We do have the ability. Some of the shelters have lost power. We're moving folks from one place to another, but we're all doing the best we can and working as hard as we can. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I also want to make note, in addition to our shelters, I do want to thank, for example, Lakewood Church for opening up their doors, and I think they still do have some capacity there as well. Chief Acevedo.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for your leadership and for hosting this. As of a few minutes ago, we've had only one priority one, which is our highest priority call pending, and about 87 lower priority calls that are pending for dispatch. We had 7 minor traffic collisions holding, including in those calls, and quite a few roadway closures. Pierce elevated at 45, 290 Hollister, 610 Scott westbound, Katy Freeway at 45 inbound, 610 288 southbound, East X Freeway at 59 northbound. We've had 6 stations that were impacted by the power outages, and I'm happy to report that the backup generators have restored power, Mayor. We are fully deployed throughout the city. We are in a full tactical alert, and word to the wise that we have not just patrol assets out looking and keeping an eye on our infrastructure and our businesses. We also have officers in plane wraps, plane cars out across the city. It's very important people not call 911 unless it's a true emergency. En español, queremos que sepa la comunidad que por favor no estén manejando. Las condiciones todavía para el tránsito están muy peligrosas. Sigue las temperaturas muy bajas y van a seguir bajas hasta mañana. No esté en la carretera si no necesita. And again, the roadways continue to be icy, Mayor, and with no end in sight to these icy conditions until at least tomorrow. So we encourage people to stay off the highways, especially as soon as the sun comes down. We know that it's going to get from bad to worse in terms of the roadway conditions. That's my report.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Pena.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. So the Houston Fire Department remains fully staffed at this moment. Our firefighters are doing an extraordinary job out here in these conditions. We have seen an increase in call volume. Our call volume is up over 50% from what is normal. We're over 800 calls for service at this point, mainly EMS calls. This brings me to my point on these rolling blackouts or power outages. Again, if you're going to resort to some portable heating device, please ensure that you do not use any gasoline-powered generators close to your home. Do not use propane heaters inside your home, charcoal heaters. Those produce dangerous and lethal carbon monoxide. We want to ensure that you're doing the right thing. If you're using your car to heat up, ensure that car is not inside your home, inside your garage, and turned on. That is going to produce carbon monoxide, is going to fill up your home, and you're asking for trouble at that point. So please be mindful of what you're doing to ensure that you stay warm. We recommend that you bundle up. recommend, as the mayor mentioned, that you check on your neighbors and the elderly. They're more susceptible to the cold. Please keep in touch with these people and ensure that that they're doing the right thing to try to keep warm during these times. In regards to the water usage, we want to again ask our community to be mindful of what they're using. You don't have to be doing laundry or any of those items at this point to conserve the water and the water pressure that would be necessary in case of a major emergency. Stay off the roads. Stay off the roads. The roads are going to get even more dangerous now. The sun is out for some time. It's melting some of the snow. That is going to freeze over, and you're going to get ice on these roads. They're going to be even more dangerous than they were last night, so please be mindful of that. Do not expose yourselves or first responders or public workers out to try to respond to your emergencies for these unnecessary travel. People on medical devices, as the mayor mentioned, he mentioned earlier, those people that are on medical devices, oxygen, dialysis, any ventilators, please ensure that you have a plan in case there is a power outage at your home. Take the necessary actions right now to ensure that your battery is fully operated. Contact your provider for the medical device to ensure that you have a backup source and have a plan ready in case those power outages are prolonged and you have to fall on battery power. Ensure that your batteries are charged at this moment. It's critically important. We can't estimate how long the power is going to be out when it does go out, but we want to make sure that you have a plan and you're doing the things necessary to ensure that you're protected. That's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
And to sum up, before we take any questions, if you have, I mean, my number one concern right now are the power outages. And that is not something that we here at the city control. That is not within our control. But it is impacting a lot of people throughout the state of Texas, but specifically in the Houston region. That's my number one concern. I want to echo what Chief Pena had to say, because I know people are looking for different ways to warm up. And if you're getting in your car, your truck, please do not warm up inside that garage with that garage door down. Please do not do that. That is dangerous. Please do not do that. Get you a few more blankets, things of that nature. It will pass, but that's my number one concern. And specifically, as it relates to critical care customers, people who are needing devices, needing oxygen, and our seniors. Those are the two areas. So for those individuals, those critical care individuals, people with special needs, if you see that you are needing something with regards to your device or oxygen, please reach out to us through 311 or 211, and we will respond. For everybody else, let me just ask you to hunker down as we work to get through it. Tonight is going to be a cold, frigid night, okay? The temperatures will be freezing. So do not allow the sun to fool you and then think that tonight you can get out on the road. Do not do that. Tonight will be more treacherous than last night. In the morning will be colder than this morning. So please don't be fooled by the sun. When the sun goes down, the conditions will be treacherous. And again, we're asking you to stay off the roads. Please do that. It will help yourself, and it'll help the first responders as well. Having said that, I do want to thank the Forge for Family Center. That was one of our shelters, warming center. But because it is now without power, we are having to redirect people there to another location. So as you can see, even if you went to some of these warming station shelters, some of them are without power as well. So the best thing is for you to remain in your homes, and then let's work to get past these power outages. We'll take any questions that anyone may have.
Do you know if they're still treating the roads with salt or gravel or anything to this point?
Yeah, and they are still treating the roads. That will continue throughout this crisis. The overpasses and all of those areas. Well, let me just say every street, every road. Okay, It's not just the overpasses. When you're dealing with this situation in frigid weather and the precipitation that will freeze over every street, every road, can be a very dangerous one. But yes, the answer is yes. TxDOT as well as Public Works.
Second question, just for clarification, the loss of power that we're seeing now is mostly power outages and not the rolling blackouts?
These are not rolling blackouts. Yesterday, what we were assuming, what CenterPoint and others were saying, is that there will be rolling blackouts from 15 minutes to 1 hour, and to kind of ease the load to stay within the capacity of the system. But things changed quite a bit in the early part of the morning, this morning, and it became a situation that it was the rolling blackouts became so frequent that they just turned into power outages. So what you experience and what you're seeing today, this is a situation that the generating companies, okay, facilities, were either frozen over, like your wind turbines, okay. Many of them, for example, are in Lubbock in West Texas, frozen over, and your nuclear power plants, okay, had to be taken offline. So when the generation went down, it was not sufficient power to flow to your transmission and distribution companies like CenterPoint, like TXU, for example. And that reduced the power supply. And once that happened, they had to start shutting things down to keep everything from coming down. The reality is that if everything stops and there's a total blackout, it would be several more days, if not a week, to restore power. So these are power outages to try to balance the load and to keep the system from being overloaded. Now, we can have a conversation when this is all over, while we even are at this point. But the system is managed by ERCOT. That is the state system that manages your generation, your transmission and distribution, as well as your retail, okay, your electric power grid. And that's on the state level. And I think when this is over, we'll need to have a conversation, a serious conversation as to why we are where we are today. But where we are today is getting people through this crisis, this situation, especially the 1.2 million customers in this area that are operating without power, and especially those seniors and critical care customers. But these are not rolling blackouts. These are power outages at a huge, unprecedented scale. Okay? All right. And now lastly, but if you do have power, let me say what you can do. For those who do have power, you certainly can lower that thermostat down to 68 or sometimes even a little bit below in order to conserve the power. Okay? On a day like today, you can open up the blinds and the shutters and take advantage of the sun rays that are coming in. Don't use the heavy appliances. So conserve, if you do have power, conserve as much power as you can to keep from others from losing power, and then to help speed up the point where those who are without power can be restored. So we all have a role to play. Okay, I wanted to make that point. Let me thank everybody for cooperating on yesterday, staying off the roads. Let me thank you for staying, just following all of the advice that we have provided to you, and we will get through this. This is an unprecedented time, but you've heard me say that before, and this too shall pass, and then we'll be on the other side of this, hopefully in the next, let's say, 36 hours. Okay, thanks.